It's amazing how winning can change the entire vibe.
Everybody involved. Doug Christie's going to get most of the credit. Maybe he deserves most of the credit, but everyone involved should get credit for the way the Kings seemingly have turned things around in the last 2 weeks. And it's interesting because the Heat right now come in here, and as an organization, they got some dark clouds swirling overhead, right?
Yeah.
How are they going to deal with this Jimmy Butler thing? Well, the Kings had the De'Aaron Fox situation. They had a coach got fired. A lot of people said, same old Kings. I don't know if you saw DeMarcus Cousins. It's on TikTok today saying, yeah, it's the same old Kings. They have no organization, no direction. They're always looking for someone to blame. And right now that almost seems laughable when they've won 4 in a row.
Yeah, well, when did I saw it today.
I saw it today. I assume it's recent.
Yeah, I was wondering, was it right after Mike Brown was fired, or was it? How about this, Whitey? Might this be a crazy idea?
Don't say it, Traves.
Firing Mike Brown was a good thing.
Huh.
Because here's the thing. And I understand it looks like the organization's dysfunctional. I get it. But if it works out, who cares? You made the right decision. The reason, and I said this last week, and I'll say it again, in case you missed, people at home missed it, we still talk about Michael Malone because of what followed. If we would have fired Michael Malone and went on and won 50 games, nobody would be talking about the decision to fire Mike Malone. Reason we're talking about Mike Brown is we're not sure how it's going to play out. It looks like, here we go again. Dave Yeager, Michael Malone, looks like that. But what if Doug Christie is actually the right guy, Whitey?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Then it's like, all right, you actually made the right move at the right time. And so, people can pile on all they want, Michael Malone, Steve Kerr, DeMarcus Cousins, but ultimately, time will tell if it was the right decision or not.
Yes, you're right. Time will tell. There's a long ways to go, but right now it looks like the Kings, just in the 2 weeks, look where they are compared to where they were on that Friday when you guys got on the plane.
It's a different feeling, man. I'm going to keep it 100% real. I'm going to keep it a buck. When Mike Brown happened, this was my first time, dealing with something of this magnitude. I've seen, Luke Walton. But Mike Brown was beloved, man. People loved Mike Brown and the organization. And when they fired Mike Brown, I'm like, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? It's Mike Brown. It's the guy that let us, beam team one, gave us stability. And so even I was down in the dumps. I was shocked, but 5 games in, you see a different Sacramento Kings basketball team. And, to De'Aaron Fox, he said the comment, this is the nature of the business, basically. I'm paraphrasing. And it really is. It sucks. It sucks to be Mike Brown. It sucks to be his family now and have to deal with all that and to lose your job like that. But this league is about winning basketball games, Whitey. And if this team wins basketball games, then the decision was the right decision.
You never know what to believe and what not to believe in pro sports and politics. You never know. It's no knock on Kings. But it came out, one of the stories that came out from the organization was that this the firing of Mike Brown ended up being a little awkward in part because no one wanted to fire him. And that's easy to say, but to the point you made, I believe that. Now, obviously, someone wanted to fire him or he's not fired, but I think it was very difficult for the organization. They realized, wow, we're really crossing the line.
Yeah,
fire Mike Brown. There's no going back.
Right. And here's the thing: you fire a guy like Michael Malone, you didn't recover from it. You fire David. It took a while for the Kings to recover from those mistakes that they made.
Yes.
Think about all the negative publicity that came the Kings' way in the 2010s decade. From not drafting Luka, Marvin Bagley, the coaches, everything. And you have finally turned the corner to respectability. And then you fire the guy that helped bring you there. To your point, if it doesn't work out, it may take a while to get, change it again. Now, let's say Doug doesn't work out. I fully expect him to. He's doing a hell of a job. But let's say it does. Then where do you go? Hiring another coach? And so, this has to work out, man. And so far, so good. We won 4 out of 5 games with Doug. But it's a gamble. It's a risk.
Yeah, now you look at the Heat. As we said, they're dealing with things as well. But one thing about the Heat, for better or worse, they have stayed with, Eric Spoelstra's not in any trouble now, right? Whereas the Kings and a lot of teams, there's bad times. You need to get a new coach. They've got more stability. Doesn't mean that they'll be able to get through this. These are some especially complicated issues they got to work through with Jimmy Butler. But I think they could maybe actually look at what the Kings have done and maybe learn a thing or two, or as far as how you navigate a delicate situation like this.
And do what?
When they're trying to figure out how do you sort through this?
Because we had to change. We had to make a change.
They got to make a change. They got to get rid of Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Not the coach, but Jimmy Butler's got to go.
But is that? And it may come down to this, Whitey, where you just send them home. Because if organizationally, we just talked about it earlier. If organizationally, you don't want to. I don't want Brad Beal in his contract. Why would I? I don't want, whatever the Warriors might be.
Today, by the way, Bradley Beal apparently came out that the Heat are one of the teams he would accept a trade.
Yeah, it was Heat, Lakers, and somebody else I thought I saw. I'm just like, if you're Miami, and I agree, if a guy is a cancer, you got to get rid of him. But if you trade him for a package you really don't want, I feel like they're in a tough position. If I'm them, if I'm being honest, I'm punting on this season. Meaning either A, Jimmy, you come in and play and we work through it, or B, we're going to send you home.
Right.
And then you got opt out and go, and we'll use our cap space and hopefully sign a free agent to be whoever it may be. That's the path I would take, because I don't think they're going to win the championship this year. And who knows, with Jimmy, you saw how fast it went downhill in Minnesota. Jimmy has a history of, when he's upset and wants out, he's going to make life difficult.
Yes, and now he can definitely drag everything down.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about how things around here, the negativity was dragging things down. Jimmy will actively go out and drag things down.
Dog, I'm so upset right